Welcome back to the channel named Numismatic Top 8. First up, Philware, history meets the hobby of coin collecting. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Cent, a coin that's not only rich in copper but also in American history. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, this penny might just surprise you with its story, rarity, and value. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's uncover the secrets behind the final year of the wheat cent era. Before we explore the 1958D in detail, we need to understand its roots. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, also known as the Lincoln Cent, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The reverse side displayed two wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity, and hence it was nicknamed the Wheat Penny. This design lasted until 1958, making that year's minting historically significant. It marked the end of an era. Let's take a step back into the year 1958. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. The Cold War was heating up. NASA was newly founded. Elvis Presley ruled the airwaves, and America was on the cusp of major social changes. In the world of coins, 1958 was the last hurrah for the wheat reverse. As the U.S. Mint prepared to replace it with the Lincoln Memorial design starting in 1959, this transition was more than just a design change. It reflected the nation's evolving identity. Now, let's zero in on the 1958D Lincoln Wheat Cent. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which struck a massive 800,953,000 of these coins. That's nearly 801 million pennies, an astronomical number. Let's break it down by features. Obverse, Abraham Lincoln's bust facing right, in God we trust, inscribed above, liberty on the left. The year 1958, with a D Mint mark just below it. On the right, reverse, classic wheat, stalks 1 cent and United States of America in bold e pluribus unum at the top. Despite its high mint, the 1958D is still a favorite among collectors because of its historical significance. It's the last wheat penny ever minted, and the Denver Mint produced more than Philadelphia that year. Fun fact, there are no 1958S wheat cents, as the San Francisco Mint had ceased penny production in 1955. One of the most intriguing aspects of 1958 Lincoln cents is the double die obverse, or DD. Although it only applies to the 1958 Philadelphia issue, and not the Denver D Mint, the 1958 DDO is one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cent errors in existence, with fewer than 5 known specimens. However, no genuine 1958 DDDOs have ever been confirmed by major grading companies like PCGs or NGC. Still, rumors persist, and many collectors keep an eye out for strange doubling on the D Mint mark, though most end up being machine doubling, not the true hub doubling that defines valuable error coins. When it comes to value, condition is king. The coin grading scale, developed by Dr. William Sheldon, ranges from poor P1 to perfect mint state MS70 for the 1958D. Here's a rough guide. Circulated good to very fine, 1 to 10 cents, extremely fine XF, 10 to 25 cents AU. About uncirculated, 25 to 50. CENTS MS62 MS63 uncirculated, 50 cents $2 to Ms-64 to MS66 red high grade, $3 to $20 MS67 RD and up premium grade, $50 to over $300 plus highest recorded sale. In 2022, a 1958D graded MS67 Road by PCGS sold for $336 at auction. While it's not a fortune, it's impressive for a coin once worth only a penny. Want to find a 1958D worth keeping or even submitting for grading? Here are a few tips. Luster, a brilliant original red color is most desirable. No contact marks. Fewer scratches or dings equals higher grade. Sharp strike, clear details on Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, don't carbon spots. These black marks reduce eye appeal and value. Full mint red. Most valuable are road designations, not brown BN or red brown RB. Try this. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe and inspect the details under strong light. Even tiny imperfections matter when it comes to top-tier grading. Here's how to take care of your 1958D wheat cents and build a great collection. Use archival quality flips or 2x2 cardboard holders. Store them in a climate-controlled environment to prevent toning or corrosion. Avoid touching the coin's surface, hold by the edges only. For coins in MS condition, consider professional grading with PCGS or NGC. Use a red book, a guidebook of United States coins to track values. Pro tip: assemble a complete Lincoln wheat set from 1909 to 1958. It's one of the most satisfying goals in U.S. coin collecting, and the 1958D is your official finale. With coin collecting becoming more popular, counterfeits have entered the market. While the 1958D isn't a common target for fakes, doctored coins and added mint marks do pop up occasionally. Red flags altered 1958 Philly coins with a fake D added, artificially colored coins claiming to be Red Bay listings. With vague photos and suspicious prices, always buy from reputable dealers. And if in doubt, request a certificate of authenticity or third-party grading. The 1958 wheat penny may not be ultra-rare, but its historical and emotional value runs deep. It's the final chapter in a 50-year coin legacy that began with Lincoln's portrait and ended just before the space age. So, what do you think? Do you have a 1958 in your collection? Have you ever found one in your pocket change? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for spending time with us today. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting, because every coin has a story, and we're here to help you tell it. Next up today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1957 wheat penny. Whether you're a new collector or a seasoned enthusiast, this episode is packed with rich history, hidden details, and insider tips on mint marks, values, and rare varieties. So grab your magnifying glass and let's get started. Before we zoom into the 1957 wheat penny specifically, let's rewind a bit to understand where this coin came from and why it holds such a beloved place in American coinage. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. This was the first time a real person, and a former U.S. president, appeared on a circulating American coin. The design was the brainchild of sculptor Victor David Brenner, who engraved Lincoln's profile on the obverse, and two stalks of durum wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural heritage. This design lasted from 1909 to 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The wheat penny era, then, marks nearly 5 decades of numismatic history, and among these, the 1957 issues remain extremely popular due to their historical context and accessibility. Let's take a snapshot of America in 1957. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley topped the charts, and the Cold War was heating up. It was also the year the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, kicking off the space race. In this environment of change and tension, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins as symbols of stability and national pride. The 1957 wheat penny was part of this effort, a tiny but important piece of American life. The 1957 wheat penny came in 2 major mint mark varieties: the 1957 no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, and the 1957D, struck in Denver. Let's break them down. Composition: 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc weight. 3.11 grams diameter, 19 homage plain designer Victor David Brenner mintage, over 1.3 billion combined from both mints. The 1957 coin was never struck in San Francisco, as the mint had stopped producing cents in 1955. Okay, so what exactly is a mint mark? Simply put, it's a small letter on the coin indicating where it was made. On wheat pennies, you'll find the mint mark just below the date on the obverse. No mint mark equals Philadelphia, minted mint mark equals Denver. Mint Philadelphia was the primary mint and did not include a mint mark at the time, while Denver used the D symbol. Both the 1957 and 1957D wheat pennies are common, but there are some cool distinctions and varieties collectors look out for. Let's talk money, because, after all, that's part of the fun. What are these 1957 pennies actually worth? Circulated coins: 1957 no mint mark, 3 to 10 cents, 1957D, 3 to 10 cents, MS62, MS65, 1957, 25 cents, $5.001957D, 20 cents, $4.00 Red Road, designation in MS66 or higher. These can fetch $20, $100 plus, depending on quality and market demand, but here's the key. Condition is everything. A brilliant red, uncirculated 1957D cent graded MS67 plus by PCGS could easily sell for over $1,000 at auction. Grading tips: BN equals brown, most common R&B equals red brown, intermediate value road equals full red. Most valuable for wheat pennies. Now this is where things get really exciting: error coins. These are mint mistakes that make some coins extremely rare and valuable. Let's explore known errors in 1957 wheat cents. Double die obverse DDO. Look for doubling in the date and Liberty error, a die crack between the B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like the letter I. Off-center strikes can range from 5% to 90% off-center. The more dramatic, the more valuable error-pinch mint marks RPM, especially in the 1957D variety. Look for secondary impressions of the D. Some of these errors are worth hundreds of dollars, depending on condition. So if you come across a 1957 penny that looks a little weird, don't spend it. As wheat pennies grow in value, unfortunately so do the counterfeits. Here's how to avoid getting fooled. Tips to spot fakes: weight the coin. Authentic ways: 3.11 grams. Inspect the font and spacing. Fake coins often have odd proportions. Use a magnet. Real wheat pennies are not magnetic. Compare with certified examples from PCGS or NGC online. Want to find a 1957 wheat penny of your own? Here are some tips. Coin rolls from banks: try roll hunting with penny rolls. Flee Markets and estate sales. Great for bulk finds. Online auctions. eBay. Heritage. Great collections. Coin shows. Meet dealers and compare prices. Local coin shops. Ask for bulk. Wheat pennies or specific years. Many people still find wheat pennies in pocket change, though it's becoming increasingly rare. So why should you care about 1957 wheat pennies? They're affordable entry points for new collectors. They're rich in history. The last full year before the memorial reverse, there's potential for valuable finds, especially in high grade or with errors. They connect you to a broader community of collectors and historians. Found some 1957 wheat pennies. Great. Now let's keep them safe. Storage tips. Use 2x2 holders or plastic flips. Avoid PVC sleeves. They can damage copper over time. Store in a dry, cool place. Handle with cotton gloves or by the edge. Remember, improper storage can reduce the value of even the rarest finds. A few more fun facts before we wrap up. 1957 was the second to last year for wheat pennies. Over 1,000,000,1957 pennies were struck. One of the highest in wheat cent history. Some 1957 RPMs have up to 3 visible impressions of the D. Mint mark. Collectors sometimes assemble year sets, one from every mint in each year. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the 1957 wheat penny. From mint marks to values, errors to history. We hope you've learned something new and exciting today. Next up today, we dive into one of the fascinating and underrated coins in American history, the 1950 wheat penny. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your coin collecting journey, this video is packed with valuable information, from historical context, minting stats, errors, and how much this coin could be worth in today's market. So grab your magnifier and let's explore the story of the 1950 wheat cent. The year was 1950. America was adjusting to post-World War II realities. The Cold War was heating up, and a baby boom was reshaping the nation. The Korean War had just started in June, and President Harry S. Truman was in office. Against this backdrop of change and tension, the U.S. Mint continued to produce the coin that had become a symbol of everyday American life, the Lincoln wheat cent. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the wheat penny or Lincoln cent had become a staple in American pockets. The reverse featured 2 stylized wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and agriculture, vital themes in early 20th century America. Now let's focus on the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, one of the 3 main U.S. mints operating at the time, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. Mintage numbers 1950 wheat pennies produced, approximately 334,950,000. That's right, over 334 million pennies rolled out of the Denver Mint that year. This makes the 1950 not particularly rare in terms of total mintage, but there's still plenty of value and history in these coins. These pennies were struck in 95% copper, with the remaining 5% a mix of tin and zinc, a standard alloy, used from 1864 to 1962, before the composition was changed to mostly zinc in 1982. Let's take a closer look at the design elements that make this coin iconic. Obverse front, portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. The motto, "In God We Trust," at the top, Liberty. On the left side, the date 1950 and the mint mark D. Just below it on the right, the iconic wheat ears on both sides, the bold text 1 cent in the center. Beneath it, United States of America, and above, the motto E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one. This classic design remained in use from 1909 to 1958, when the wheat penny was retired in favor of the Lincoln Memorial design. Even though the 1950 isn't considered a key date, there are still valuable varieties and errors that collectors chase. Let's explore some of the most notable. Description: the D mint mark was punched more than once into the die value. A high-grade 1950 RPM can sell for $25 to $100 plus, depending on condition. Description: raised lines or blobs of metal due to worn-out dies. Value varies widely, usually $5 to $50, but rare examples can fetch more. Description: coin is not properly centered when struck. Value: 10 to 20% off. Center strikes can bring $10 to $200, depending on how dramatic and well-centered the error is. Description: a die break between the B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like the letter I. Value can sell for $10 to $75, depending on visibility. Collectors love error coins not just for their rarity, but because each one tells a story about the minting process. Like all coins, the value of a 1950 wheat penny depends heavily on its grade, how well it has been preserved. Let's look at the estimated values by condition. The real gems are the mint state red. Examples: coins that still have their original reddish luster and no signs of circulation. These are rare and prized by serious collectors. So, how can you find or collect a valuable 1950 penny? Tips: look for color. Red road coins are more valuable than brown BN or red-brown RB. Check for RPMs and die varieties. A magnifier or digital microscope can help spot them. Always store coins properly. Use coin flips or capsules and avoid touching them with bare hands. Buy certified coins if you're investing in high-grade coins. Go for pieces graded by PC or NGC. You never know that old penny sitting in a jar or inherited from a relative could be worth much more than face value. So, what makes the 1950D wheat penny special? It's a coin from a transformative era in American history. It's widely available, yet still collectible. Certain varieties and eras can command serious premiums, and most importantly, it's part of the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a favorite for generations of coin enthusiasts. Next up, coin collectors and history enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the story of one of the most iconic and collectible coins from the mid-20th century, the 1955D wheat penny. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned numismatist, this episode will uncover the hidden details, values, varieties, and history of this humble yet fascinating coin. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's explore the world of the 1955D Lincoln Wheat Cent. Let's rewind the clock to 1955, a year when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. The Cold War was intensifying, and America was booming economically. Amid these transformative times, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing millions of Lincoln cents pennies that would find their way into the pockets of schoolchildren, workers, and soldiers alike. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, also known as the Wheat Cent, had been in circulation since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln. The design remained largely unchanged for 50 years, with the obverse showcasing Lincoln's bust and the reverse featuring two stalks of wheat, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural heritage. The 1955D refers to the penny minted in Denver, denoted by the small d mint mark located under the date on the obverse. The Denver Mint struck an impressive total of 563,257,500 wheat pennies in 1955. That's over 500 million coins. Despite this high mintage, the 1955D penny is still popular among collectors today. Why? Because it represents one of the last years before the wheat cent design was retired in 1958. It's important to note that while the Philadelphia Mint produced one of the most famous era coins in history, the 1955 double-die Denver Mint's coins were comparatively more consistent in quality. However, there are still some interesting varieties and minor errors associated with the 1955D that collectors watch for. More on that shortly. Let's break down the design of the 1955D penny. Feature 8-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. The word liberty is inscribed to the left of Lincoln. The motto, "In God We Trust," arcs above Lincoln's head. The date 1955 appears on the right, just below which is the D mint mark for Denver. Features two stalks of wheat, flanking both sides of the coin. At the center is the denomination 1 cent, followed by United States of America. Above it is the Latin motto E pluribus, meaning out of many. The simple yet bold design gave the wheat penny its nickname and made it an enduring favorite. The 1955D penny was struck in the standard bronze composition used from 1944 to 1982. Specifications: composition 95% copper, 5% tin, and zinc. Weight 3.11 grams, diameter 19.05 mg, plain due to its high copper content. These coins are even worth more than face value just for their metal, though. Melting pennies for copper is illegal in the US. The value of any coin depends significantly on its condition or grade. Here's a quick breakdown of what that means. Next up, coin collectors and history lovers. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of 1945 wheat pennies. You are packed with history, mystery, and valuable mint marks. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, this video will uncover everything you need to know about the 1945 1-cent wheat penny. From production to values, mint marks to wartime history, you won't want to miss this. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II. America was transitioning from wartime to peacetime, and the effects of the war could be seen in everything, including our coinage. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, had been in circulation since 1909, and by 1945 it was still going strong. But here's the kicker: coin production in 1945 was heavily influenced by wartime economics. Copper was still a critical material for war production, although by 1945, the famous steel cent experiment of 1943 had already passed. The U.S. Mint had resumed copper usage, but the alloy used in pennies was slightly different due to ongoing resource management. So, what exactly is a 1945 wheat penny? Let's break it down. Obverse front features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The date 1945 is located on the right, and if there's a mint mark, it'll be just below the date. Reverse back shows two wheat ears, hence the name wheat penny. You'll also see the phrases 1 cent and United States of America, along with E pluribus unum at the top. Metal composition: 95% copper, 5% zinc. Weight: 3.11 grams, diameter 19.05 millimeters. Now let's talk mint marks, because that's where things start to get really interesting. There were 3 types of 1945 wheat pennies produced, each identified by its mint mark. 1. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. The most common version, over 1 billion coins, struck no letter under the date. 2. Denver Mint D. Mint mark, around 266 million minted. Look for the small d under the year. 3. San Francisco Mint S. Mint mark, about 181 million struck, a small s under the year 11. Though all 3 are relatively common, certain conditions and errors can make them highly collectible. And that brings us to, now let's get into the juicy stuff: errors and varieties. This is where even a 1-cent coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here are the most notable ones. 1. Repunched mint marks. RPMs especially common in the Denver and San Francisco mints. RPMs occur when the mint mark was punched more than once into the die, often at a slightly different angle. Collectors pay a premium for these. Some go for $20, $100 depending on grade and visibility. 2. Doubled dies. These are extremely rare for 1945, but always be on the lookout. If the lettering or numbers look doubled, you may have a gem. 3. Off-center strikes. Coins that weren't perfectly aligned during striking. 5 to 10% off-center might bring in $10, 30.50% or more. You could be looking at $100 plus for die cracks and cuds result. From worn or damaged dies, these varieties are gaining popularity. Value depends on size and location of the era. Always check your change in that old jar of pennies. You might be sitting on a hidden treasure. Alright, let's talk money. How much are these coins actually worth today? Mint mark, circulated GVF, uncirculated MS60, MS65, special varieties, no mint. Philadelphia 5 cents, 25 cents, $1, $10 RPM, $20 plus D. Mint Denver 5 cents, 35 cents, $2, $15 RPM. Vinci $5, mint St. Dollars Mint San Francisco 10 cents, 40 cents, $2, $20 RPM, $30, $15 of course. Certified coins from top grading companies like PCGs or NGC can bring significantly more. Condition is king. Let's quickly go over grading basics. Good G, major details worn flat. Low value. Very fine VF. Lincoln's hair shows some detail. Still circulated. Mint state MS. No signs of wear. Luster intact. These fetch the highest prices. Tip: use a 10x loupe or magnifying glass to inspect for details and mint mark variations. Storage tip: always keep your wheat pennies in a dry, cool place, ideally in a coin album or a certified holder. PVC-free holders are best to prevent long-term damage. You might ask, why collect 1945 wheat pennies when they're so common? Great question. Here's why. 1. Historical significance. 1945 marked the end of World War II. These coins are a tangible piece of that moment in history. 2. Accessibility. They're affordable for beginners and still offer opportunities for valuable finds. 3. Educational value. Learning to grade, identify errors, and spot fakes builds real numismatic skills. 4. Investment potential. High-grade examples and error. Coins continue to rise in value as collectors increase. And let's be honest, they just look awesome. Here are some cool tidbits you might not know about the 1945 wheat penny if melted. Each penny would only be worth about 2 cents in coppers, so they're actually worth more as collectibles. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion of these pennies, making it one of the most produced coins of its time. Some 1945 pennies have turned a deep chocolate brown due to oxidation. While not rare, the color tone can impact collector preference. A small handful of 1945 pennies were accidentally struck on foreign planchets. Check the weight if anything seems odd. To wrap things up, while the 1945 wheat penny might seem like an everyday coin, its history, variety, and hidden value make it a fascinating addition to any collection. Whether you're chasing mint errors or assembling a complete set, these humble cents tell the story of a nation at a crossroads, emerging from war, ready for peace, and leaving behind a legacy in copper. Don't forget, always check your change. Visit your local coin shops, and maybe even raid your grandparents' penny jars. You never know what you might find. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1945 wheat penny, smash that like button. Subscribe for more numismatic content, and drop a comment letting us know your coolest coin find. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your pennies always shine bright. Next up, where we dive into the rich and fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures. In today's episode, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most iconic coins from America's past, the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your collection, this is one video you don't want to miss. We'll talk about mint marks, values, errors, and what makes this wartime penny so special. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dig in. The year is 1942. World War II is raging overseas. The United States has officially entered the war after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in December 1941, with much of the nation's resources diverted to support the war effort. Even the smallest things like coins were affected. But before the steel pennies of 1943 came into play, 1942 still featured the classic 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc composition we associate with earlier wheat cents. This would be one of the final years this composition was used before the switch to steel in 1943 due to copper shortages. The Lincoln cent itself was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a bust of Lincoln facing right, while the reverse, at least up to 1958, includes the familiar wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum at the top. In 1942, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies, but not all of them were created equal. Section 2. Mint marks and mintage. 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, approximately 400 words in 1942. The Lincoln wheat cent was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Each mint had a different mintage total, which can impact a coin's value depending on rarity and condition. Let's break it down. 1942 Philadelphia, no mint mark mintage, approximately 657,796,000. These were the most common of the 1942 wheat pennies. Being from the main mint, they have no mint mark under the date. Despite the high mintage, some high-grade uncirculated examples or error coins can be valuable. 1942D. Denver mintage, around 206,698,000. These coins have a small D mint mark, just under the year. Denver cents are more scarce than the Philadelphia version, but still relatively common in circulated grades. 1942S San Francisco mintage, approximately 85,590,000 with the lowest mintage of the 3. The S mint mark under the date makes this version slightly more desirable among collectors. In uncirculated grades, these coins can fetch a solid premium. These 3 mint marks, or lack thereof, play a big role in determining the desirability and value of a 1942 penny. Section 3. Design details. 6 o'clock to 8:30. Approximately 300 words. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1942 wheat penny obverse front. The portrait of President Abraham Lincoln faces to the right. Above his head, you'll see "In God We Trust," a motto that first appeared on the 2-cent coin in 1864. To the left, Liberty. To the right, the year 1942, with or without a mint mark underneath depending on where it was struck. Reverse back to stalks of wheat curve around the words 1 cent and United States of America at the top. The Latin phrase E pluribus unum means out of many. 1. Victor David Brenner's initials, VDB, were initially placed on the reverse in 1909, but due to public backlash, they were quickly removed. They returned in 1918, but this time, much more subtly on the front of the coin, under Lincoln's shoulder. The wheat reverse would eventually be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. Now, here's where things get really interesting for collectors: varieties and errors. While most 1942 wheat pennies are common, certain minting mistakes can make your coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here are some key varieties and errors to look out for. Doubled die obverse, DDOA. Doubled die results when the design is doubled on the die itself. When coins are struck, they appear with noticeable doubling, especially on the date and lettering. Look for doubling on "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date, 1942. Off-center strikes. These happen when the coin isn't properly centered during minting. If the date is still visible and the off-center strike is dramatic, such coins can fetch good money. B error die break between B and E in Liberty. This small die crack forms a B between the B and E of Liberty. Not super rare, but still collectible, especially for those who enjoy die break varieties. Clipped. Planchettes off. A coin blank was improperly cut. You may see a curved clip taken out of the edge of the penny. Lamination. Errors. These occur when a layer of the metal flakes off due to impurities in the planchette. Always examine your coins closely with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Some of these errors may be subtle to the naked eye but can significantly increase a penny's value. 1230 value depends on 3 main factors: mint, mark, condition, and whether the coin has any errors or varieties. Here's a rough guide to 1942 wheat penny values by mint and grade. 1942 no mint mark. Philadelphia circulated good to fine, 5 cents to $0, to 5 extremely fine XF, 50 cents. To $1 uncirculated MS62 MS65, $2 to $1.10 red MS65 plus, up to $50 or more. 1942D Denver, circulated 10 cents, $20, 35 extremely fine, 75 cents to $2 uncirculated MS60 plus $3. $2.15 red gems, $50 $100 plus. 1942S San Francisco, circulated 15 cents to $0, 40 XF20, $1 to $2.50 Ms, minus 60 plus, $5 to $20. Brilliant red MS65. $75, $150. Error coins and doubled dies can command hundreds, sometimes even over $1,000, depending on severity and condition. Grading tips. Use a magnifier to check for scratches, luster, and sharpness of design. Third-party grading companies like PCGs or NGC can help authenticate and assign a professional, Grade 2 high-value coins. Whether you're selling, buying, or just holding for the future, knowing your coin's grade is essential for determining its true market value. Want to add a 1942 penny to your collection? Here are some tips to help you make smart decisions. Check bulk lots. Online auction sites and estate sales often sell bulk wheat penny lots. You might find a valuable 1942 variant hidden among them. Buy from reputable dealers, especially if you're investing in higher-grade specimens or errors. Buy from dealers with solid reputations or certifications. Use a coin album or holder. Proper storage keeps coins safe from oxidation and handling damage. Use acid-free cardboard flips, plastic holders, or albums made for wheat cents. Look for error coins in change. You'd be surprised how many wheat cents, including 1942s, still show up in circulation or pocket change. Always check your coins. Network with other collectors. Join coin clubs, Facebook groups, or online forums. You'll learn more and maybe even trade for the exact coin you need. Collecting wheat pennies is an affordable and fun way to enjoy American history, and the 1942 penny is a perfect example of that legacy. To sum it all up, the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny may be common in circulated grades, but its historical significance, wide range of mint marks, and collectible error varieties make it a must-have for any coin collector. Whether you're looking for an affordable entry point into numismatics or hunting for that rare error gem, 1942 has something for everyone. Remember to always check for mint marks, inspect for doubling or other errors, and store your coins properly. Who knows, that old penny in your change jar might just be worth more than you think. Drop a comment below if you've found a 1942 penny or if you have a favorite wheat cent year. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your pockets always jingle with treasures.